Good afternoon, everyone. There are still a couple of people that are in the process of joining, so we'll get started in a few seconds here. Just hold on. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. There's not a lot on the agenda this week. Patrick was gone to a conference, I believe it was ACRL, so he wasn't available to meet with us this week. The LAK 5.20 update is also kind of slim today. I did get some emails from Ben telling me about a few things in the discovery layer that they had noticed, and I submitted them as problems to the support center, and as I received the responses from LibLime, I did forward those to him as well. I think most of those were either confirmed by the support center staff that they were problems and forwarded to development, or one that was found was due to a fix that had been entered in that I had overlooked in the release notes. Let me just show you what it is. Okay, in the facets, there is a facet for publisher. And last week when I showed this, it was just showing like the word university or the word press or Chicago or whatever. There is a bug that was reported earlier by someone, and that particular bug requires that if you have the publisher facet turned on, that you need to go into your search facets and modify the modify the search facets preference so that for your publisher display, it points to something called publisher-display. There was evidently a Solar issue that couldn't be resolved in a normal way, so it was resolved by creating another index that we need to use whenever we use publisher as a facet. It's a very simple fix. It's very quick and easy to do. But as I said, it was something I had overlooked. Thank you, Janelle. Okay, is that better? Okay. Okay, so again, let me go back one page. Okay. I'll do the search again. And the facet I was talking about was the publisher facet. If you have that turned on in your discovery layer configuration, you will have to make sure that in the search facet system preference that the publisher-display is identified as the index for that one. If it's only publisher, you'll get like a word university or press or Columbia, but you won't get the entire publisher. So that is an important change. It showed up in the fixes in the release notes, And because I've been ignoring the fixes, I missed that one. Okay, let me go back over here. Just a brief bit of information about the enhancement list. I did send off the enhancements to John and Patrick, the ones where I want them to respond to us and give us a level of effort. I probably won't get an answer on this until next week since Patrick wasn't available this week, but this is actually what was sent to them. I expect that I'll hear something back and then also find out from John how much we can spend. So that is moving forward. And the other piece that I wanted to talk about a little bit are testing scripts. This has been on the agenda for well over a year, and I've been thinking about some of the things that had been identified as new features in the software that we've not had before, and also on some enhancements that we haven't had before, and figured that that is the best place for us to start. For those of you who have the time and the inclination to do testing, that it might be a good place for us to start looking at the different features. If you haven't visited the release notes yet, the address is on the location line. There are 12 pages, and this is any fix or any enhancement or anything new that has been added into the code throughout the Code Fusion software since the version that is in production, which is 5.18.19, I believe. So anything beyond that is described in the release notes for 5.20. As you can see, there are several new granular permissions, new system preferences, and then some new features. The new features are primarily those features that were added because the libline code that the public libraries use had this feature in it. And if you are interested in testing them and using them, you can certainly do that. If it's something that you would never use, you can just ignore it. But there are some things that I'm thinking maybe we need to have at least a couple of people do a little bit of testing. Anything that is discovery layer configuration is something that we should probably look at. There are pieces in here where Jane has identified that there's still testing, still waiting for other people to test. And these are things that would be useful if you could do some testing. For example, the one about patron borrowers so that missing or damaged pieces can be traced back. I know that that's something that is important to most all of the libraries, and that's something I think we need to set up. I haven't done any anonymizing in the Waldo sandbox for quite some time. The last time I did it, I almost got rid of all of the patron records, so I hesitate to do that in my sandbox much of the time. So if some of you could help test that, that would certainly be something that I would like. Again, the Waldo sandbox has 5.20, the equivalent of 5.20 in the sandbox. So you can go in there and do some testing. Again, if you do the anonymized, be very careful about not deleting things, just running the anonymized tool to see what would be run. Okay, the part that I have been ignoring, let me scroll down to it, is the fixes part. And because the place that identified the problem is listed in the second column, it would behoove us to make sure that those that have been reported by a Waldo library would be, it would behoove us to test these to make sure that the fix is actually there. Some of them are older than the last 6 months, so it does make sense to go through and look at these. Okay, the one fix that I just showed you about is right here about the publisher index, producing one-word entries, and that's where it tells us what needs to be done. I think that for the fixes, we're going to not see the manuals being updated because it's something that wasn't working right, and it probably was looking okay in the user manual itself, so those probably won't have any additional description other than what we have right here. Okay, would it help you if there was a list that was not necessarily sorted, but if things that were not important to Waldo libraries was included on it? For example, we definitely would want to know things that were related and those that are identified as code fusion. If those are pieces that are not features that you would use, would it make sense to know that those are available to be tested in the Waldo sandbox? I mean, how would you suggest that we approach this? Yeah, we have to check for unintended breaks. One of the issues that Ben sent to me was for searching, if you search a title and it has a colon in it, it will break the search. And that was something that I had sent a message back asking why would somebody put the colon in, and Ben pointed out that people will do a copy and paste from Amazon or from some other source, and if the colon exists there, then that does have the unfortunate result of breaking the search. So that is something that we're continuing to look at. I have sent in a support center ticket about that, and the support center person who handled that did say that she could replicate it. I think that that's something that we need to be aware of. Yeah, that's true, Jennifer. Along the last few months, as I've noticed things being added into the Code Fusion version, I've been trying to demonstrate them. And on those issues, I haven't gone back and checked. I know that sometimes some of the fixes that they make may break other pieces that have been working forever. And those are the ones that I think I would hope that we can find before this is a software that would be available to go into production. A reminder, Patrick did mention that he thought that this would probably be ready in the May-June time period for production. I don't know if that means that all the Code Fusion issues will be resolved, but that's definitely what they're targeting at LibLine. So if it would help, I will take those release notes and try to synthesize them down a little bit and indicate if I've been able to test them so far, and what I found, and just probably I'll put it in a spreadsheet so that if you do testing and find something different, you can just add it into that spreadsheet. And then that way, it'll be something for me to work off to send additional support center tickets to them. Is that something that sounds reasonable? Okay. I'll get it started at least before the next meeting, the spreadsheet, and I will try to have it posted as well. If I don't get it posted on the wiki site, I will definitely send it out via email via the Waldo support list. Okay, are there other issues that you would like to ask about? Any support center tickets that haven't been attended to by LibLime yet that you'd like me to escalate, or anything else? Our next meeting is in 2 weeks, which is April 5th. Any other questions? I'm hoping for our next meeting that I'll have the response from LibLime to the 2017 enhancements that I've sent, so at least we'll know what the level of effort is for some of the issues, and we'll also be able to maybe look at the list again and decide what's the most important ones that we want to have done first. Okay, other than that, I don't have anything new for you today. I've been spending more time working on InfoMart issues. So unless there are other questions, I think that's all that we have for today. Okay, we'll meet again in 2 weeks. Hopefully I'll have a little bit more information to share.